Welcome back, guys. So we're going back into the 12 daily randomly generated prompts. That's a big word. Those are like lots of words. And I haven't even had coffee yet. So what we're doing is, instead of just showing you the images, I'm just going to walk through, randomly generate them. Well, they're actually already generated because I pushed out 100,000 through a new algorithm that I'm running. It's working great. And I'm just going to generate a random number from 1 to 100,000 and then pick those 12 that I need. And we're going to go ahead and generate them in Midjourney and see what we get. So that's what today's video is going to be. Let's see what we get. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we'll go ahead and let's switch to desktop mode. That way we're actually looking at what we're supposed to look at. Now, I've already generated the first number. I'm using Google's random number generator. So we got this number here, 84,133. So now I'm going to look for that on my screen here, and I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible. Obviously, the magic of editing is going to come in really handy here. All right. So let the last one generate. While the last one's generating, I'll come up to the first one. So here we go. Something to do with a regal sphinx, and I won't worry about the artist because it's not important. It's just a matter of just getting a combination of artists together. Let me look at the ancient citadel ruins. Okay, so I can totally see that. Maybe we should open this up in a browser. That would be great, so we can see a little closer. That's actually really cool. I definitely would change the aspect ratio on these, because the default aspect ratio of 1:1 is just a square, and you don't really get a lot of the image. You just get kind of a glimpse of what the image will look like. And of all of them, I think the one that I like the most because of the lighting and the dramatic effect is the bottom right hand corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change the aspect ratio on this one. If I can do this, and that way we'll have that just generating at the bottom. So we'll do, I believe that I can just, I can just be able to do this. I mean, I could do a variable, but I'll just do this, get that one, and then we'll go ahead and change that up in a moment. Now we'll go to the next one here. Now this one has to do with the timeless hourglass. So that's going to be a little weird and interesting because of the fact that there's only one that has an hourglass, and there's something to do with Prohibition era. That's back in the day. So let's see what and it's a desert oasis. I'm going to open this up in this browser again. If I look at these are, there's really not much there. I can tell you which one I don't like. Is this bottom right hand corner one here. You could tell it's so fake. It's like that just makes absolutely no sense. I don't know what happened there. Now this one on the left with the two people here, and his eyes are a little bit demonic. If you can't see them, they actually look like they're black with white pupils. It's very weird. Let me move up here. If anything, the hourglass itself in an oasis is going to be the one that I'm going to go with, because the others seem to be just from like a catalog or something. They really serve no purpose. At least this is a little bit more visually stimulating. So we're going to go with that one. Let's go ahead and click on the hourglass, which would be number 2. I swear, I feel like I have to sneeze. Okay, let's try this next one. So this one has gold leaf royal griffin. I'm just going to read specific words, and what I'll do is I'll link the actual prompts in the description below. The only thing I won't add is I won't add any of the artists. You can add your own artists that you want, or none at all. So I'll just have the prompts without the artists, because it's like I said, it's a combination of the artists together, but still, I still don't like to do that. This is just obviously always for inspiration and randomly generated. It's not stuff that I actually end up using. I just kind of get the idea from it, and then I go and I create my own prompts later. So this one here is a royal griffin. Let's take a look at these. So a royal griffin, I'm not sure what the rest of it was. Let me take a quick peek here. So it says royal griffin, something about gold leaf, harmony, some bravery. Okay, we'll go back and look and see if any of these inspire me to kind of create something along this lines. Not really. I would say, if anything, something that would be a fantasy cover would be the upper left hand corner here. I think I like the colors and the way the textures are there, and I like the art style that's in the background on the left here. Uh, I I would have said the second one, but something's wrong with this wing. This would definitely, if I were ever going to use this image, which this might be the one, I would do some photoshopping here where I would make this right wing very similar to the left wing. So therefore, this would be replaced. So this might be the one we end up using. Let's take a look at the bottom ones. The one on the bottom left is not going to work. It's just something's completely wrong with it. I don't like it. I mean, it would take some serious photoshopping to make that one even worth it, but don't like it. The one on the right bottom here, the colors are interesting. It's nice, but it's not really what I think I would aim towards. So I would probably go with, hey, you know what would be great is if this had another wing over here. I could probably do that too. I'm gonna go with the second one. So let's make this smaller. Let's choose this one. Let's go with that one because I could always Photoshop that later. I just want to get more of the view. All right, moving on. So we have a futuristic, vibrant parrot and a cybernetic, serene beach. So obviously we're seeing some beaches in the back there. It's a high-tech, lively, luminescent neon. Okay, let's take a look. Let's open it up in the browser. These are pretty cool. I kind of like these. I love the beach in the background. I can totally see the cybernetic stuff, like cyberpunk almost. So I'm definitely going to be using this style. This would be something that I can actually make one of those tuning styles from and just save it and use it at some point. I'm trying to think of which one would be a good one to expand on. I'm kind of liking this blue one up on the right hand corner, and I'm liking the bottom left, but it's just sitting there. It's not really doing a lot. The close-up is nice too of the blue on the lower right hand. For action's sake, oh man, it's just such a toss-up. I'm looking at this left one also. I mean, we want a beach there, but I don't really like that one. It's too plain. This is a close-up, no beach. This has some palm trees in it. I'm gonna go with this again with the upper right-hand corner. I do something about the blue, and I really like that blue, and it's got like a metal beak. So I'm gonna go with that one. Let's go with that. Okay, we'll upscale that one. Okay, this is an elegant, serene monk in a ballroom jazz club. Okay, this is gonna be really weird. It also has some rich purples and golds. It's graceful, melancholic. Let's take a look. Okay. Jazz club, huh? This I definitely like the art style itself. The combination of artists that it did here, it's pretty nice. I love the way this whole painting style effect. It looks very nice. I like the texture. So having said that, I mean any of these could work for something. I don't necessarily like the subject, but this doesn't work for me. This with a lot of drapes doesn't really work for me. Like I said, I like the texture and style. I may have to go with the monk down here at the bottom, kind of losing the whole jazz music effect or ballroom. But when it says balls, there's actually circles in the area here. So I guess that's considering to be a ball. There's balls on the floor. And I do like the luminescence of both of these images. If you see the shine, kind of the shadow, there's a shine on the shoulders here. That's kind of nice. So I like either one of these. I think I'm gonna go with the monk on the left hand side, only because this image is supposed to be showing a monk. So I'm gonna go with this one here. 1, 2, 3. We use that one. Let's move on. This is a peaceful singing bard in a zen rocky cliff. Tranquil, harmonious. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. I just look for specific elements. A bard singing or playing music, and then so there's going to be water, and it's going to be a cliff next to it. Immediately, I can tell you that this one's not going to work. There's a couple of things wrong with it. I'm not a big fan on the style right now, but the face, there's something wrong with the face there. And the placement of where they're at, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, the one on the right is promising. Face is a little bit, sorry, I had to adjust there. The face is a little bit off, not terrible. The placement of the guitar and how they're holding it is great. I think sitting the way they're sitting is good. I can totally see this. This is very natural, and I like the style, the actual tone of the picture. Let's look at this bottom one. Left-hand corner, there's not a lot I can say about it, not my thing. And I'm gonna look at this one on the bottom right. I can say that I like it with a couple of exceptions. The toes. Man, I wish I can zoom into this more. Oh, yes, I can. Let me show you this real quick. I want you to see what I'm seeing. If I can just bring these toes in closer. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that big toe there, but that looks kind of weird. And the rest of the toes look like bubbles. And then the foot here, there's a toe in the back and the foot sticking out. Now, obviously, all of this can be kind of touched up in Photoshop. You can clean this up. You can remove a lot of these things. You can repaint, and it would work fine. But why do that if you have another image that is just as good or if not better? And I really do like this image. I could probably do something with that. Let's go ahead and choose that one. Let's minimize this. Did I just minimize? I did. I didn't mean to minimize. Let's go back up there. I just want to make it that way I can access it quickly. So let's go with 2. All right, moving on. I don't know how many we have left, but trying to go through these as quick as possible, not make this video longer than it has to be. Editing is your friend, though, so it's going to be really chopped up. Okay, a powerful ethereal nymph in a mythological flower meadow. All right, so looking for flowers, looking for kind of like a fairy. There's some transformation, mythic vintage, and some kind of enchanting. Let's see what we find on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and browse this. Make these bigger. Now, these really don't stand out to me only because there seems to be a lot of kind of fairies made in Midjourney, and they're very generic or very similar to one another. And sometimes the placement isn't right. This really isn't working for me. I can see like the butterfly wings are meant to be the fairy wings, but they're off of the top of the head instead of the back. So right away, I'm going to just dismiss both of these. And I'm going to look at these bottom two. Instead of being fairies, there's butterflies and flowers around them. So this is a little bit better. I don't like how there's so many butterflies around her head. I think it's just not believable for me. I know it sounds silly to say that, but if you had this many butterflies around your head, you really would not be that calm or dreamlike. You would be like, oh, yeah, I'd be swatting them all over the place. So I can't really see myself enjoying that image there. So I do see something that may be good, which is this one on the right. The only thing I don't like is how artificial the butterflies look compared to the rest of it. Now, having said that, this would be a good example of how I can save this image and remove that butterfly. So I think I'm going to grab that one and remove that butterfly in the back that looks really bright and artificial, and see what we can do there. So this is going to be a great example. I'm going to go ahead and grab that one. That's number 4. So I'm going to upscale that. This is a peaceful, brave astronaut. And he's in a mystical rune inscribed cavern. See how that works. It's a muted urban kind of coloring. It's tranquil and peaceful is the emotion. And let's see what we can get. Now, I'm just going to point out that one of my favorite artists in the comic book world is Jim Lee. And I've just noticed his name always sticks out to me. His name is included in this prompt. And I'm interested to see if there's any style at all from him on here, which I doubt there is. But it's always good to kind of like verify. And maybe, I mean, if you guys are comic book fans, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we may see something that sticks out to us like Jim Lee style, but at the top of my head, I'm not seeing it. So first off, what's with the hands? There's something wrong with those fingers. I mean, those are like a lot of sausages there. So we're definitely not even going to bother looking at the rest of that. Could that be fixed? Yes. You can do some in painting and work on that. But here's the other thing. If you look at his legs, how they're crossed and where his feet are, that's also screwed up. It's just there's too much screwed up anatomy there. It's just not worth it. He also looks like he's jaundiced. So no, I'm just gonna move on. All right, the one on the right hand corner, I like the tattoos. I like the way the style of this image is. Again, with the bad anatomy, if you look at this, just look at this for a second right here. It's just wrong, this curve. So that's going to bug me. Feet do not bend that way. The rest of it is good. I love the face and the hairstyle, the tattoos, the upper body, the hands. If I were going to use this image, I would end up cutting it off right at the knees, or I would be doing a serious amount of removal and fixing, like in painting, but it's not worth it. Let's move on. Okay. Left hand side, again, the hands, for some reason, I think the farther away you are, the worse it gets. I do love the rest of the image, like kind of like the background. And I could totally see redoing this image, especially the fact that it has a reflection at the bottom here. This would be something that I would probably touch up if I really wanted to spend some time on this and maybe recreate it in a different kind of coloring, because I love the reflection at the bottom. I love the fact that the subject just sitting there, kind of like praying or in deep thought, and the rest behind him is just it's a great backdrop. So that's something I may look at later and recreating that style. All right, this is going to be our image. Seems more like an astronaut. It's supposed to be in a cavern, yes, but there's a little bit more sci-fi involved here, and I love this style of art. It just fits perfectly. I'm not worried about the anatomy of the feet because of the fact that they're in a position that really hides them. So it is possible that they could be okay. They might be okay underneath there. So I'm gonna go with I think I'm gonna go with this one. I'm doing so much commentary on these guys, but it's worth it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I love to just kind of really focus on the images. Okay, we got something a little different here. Acrylic and oil painting where a playful child stands at a testament. Oh, stands as a testament in a map-filled study room. Okay, map-filled study room has been a big like subject or setting in all my prompts. And I'm always fascinated by what it puts together, but let's see. It's resonating with knowledge and enriched with a vivid dark spectrum. So it's kind of got that dark feeling. I'm kind of liking it already from what I'm seeing from far away. So let's take a look. Maybe seeing it small was a little bit different. Seeing him up front now, I don't know. Okay, there's too many combinations here on the left that look like they're fake, so I'm going to ignore that one. This looks like something that would be in a magazine article. You could probably use that for some article about, you know, kids and growing up in social media and trying to learn science. I don't know. Something along that lines. That would definitely be a magazine article image. So I'm going to ignore that one. This on the left, I don't know. There's something to this. I recognize this from somewhere, or at least the style of it. Not a fan. I'm going to move on. There's not much I can say about that. I do like this one. This is a bit better. Yes. Now, there are a couple of things I probably removed from here, and I know the eyeball is a little bit wrong there, but I think this is pretty cute. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Never-Ending Story for some reason. The backpack, the book, sitting on his backpack or his lunchbox or something in an old attic filled with a bunch of knickknacks around. If you've never seen that movie, it was, what was it, back in the 80s? I think it was in the 80s or 90s. Probably the 80s. The Never-Ending Story. Quite interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with that one. Let's choose that. I don't think we'll be doing much with it, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go with 4. I think we only have a few left. Okay, this is going to be a disappointment. Ceramic tile. I've been meaning to remove that from my database. A gentle breeze stands tall with a dense Amazon rainforest. Okay, this is going to be very simple. I don't think I'm going to find anything there other than a backdrop for something. So first off, let's talk about the outlier here. So this is a ceramic style. That's why you're seeing this. I'm not a big fan, so just kind of gonna ignore this one. I'm really not seeing anything that I would use, but if I had to pick one, I would probably pick the as a background, this upper right hand corner. It's a little bit more detailed. This one doesn't seem right. I don't know what's going on in the backdrop over there. Like the mistiness. This one's a little bit more real, but I'm going with the illustration one. So not too much to say about these images, but this is the one I'll go with, number 2. Let's move it on. All right, let me see what this one's about. Serene, it's another monk amidst old library. So it's an old library, it's a monk, retro enchanted, nostalgic uplifting, an industrial revolution theme. I almost said steam. Don't know if all of that came through, but let's take a look and see what we have. Ah, okay. I can't really see the monk here, so I'm gonna ignore the first one. Although that background is pretty intense, it's a great backdrop, but just as good on this next one. So I'm gonna ignore the first one. Second one looks better. This book's all the way around. There's a really thick book there in front. I can see the character a little bit better here. I think the there'd be a lot of removing. All these long sticks here need to like kind of go away. They're very distracting. So maybe that's not it. Let's move on to the next ones. Ah, so here we go. These look a little bit better. I think that this is too cropped in. It does have the monk. It has some books. It has a library around. I like the backdrop. Again, it has these lines. I'm not sure. Now I have to compare it to this one on the right. The only thing I don't like, because I love the subject, is I think I'm gonna have to remove this middle tower here. It seems very out of place because of how vibrant it is. It's very colorful, and everything else is in like a mist. So what I'll do is I think I'm gonna choose this one because I like the lighting, the reflection, just everything, and I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna take that out. So it's choosing the fourth one. We're gonna go with 4, and this is the last one. Oh, I like this one. Hold on. Acrylic. It's an acrylic enchanted broomstick, a medieval court, and ancient Greece. Also luminescent. I like the luminescence. So let's take a look. Oops, sorry. This looks kind of interesting. Broomstick immediately brings a witch to mind, which is why I kind of went in there. I don't see a broomstick anywhere in any of these images, but I can totally see how they're trying to throw in a witch in place of the broomstick. So that's interesting. I would say the first one is getting my attention. All the swirliness is a little bit weird. Maybe the drippings out of the hands are a little weird. This one on the upper right hand corner is more of a statue. I don't really like that one. And plus, what is with the words here at the bottom? I tried to put some words there. So something about that just tells me to stay away from that. We have a messed up hand here on the side on this bottom left hand one. So I'm definitely not going to go with that one. Although the rest of it is good. I would have to remove the hand as well as the whatever stick that is. The one on the right is okay, except the face is too vague. I would have liked a little bit more detail, like the one on the right here. I mean, on the left here. If you look at this face compared to the other one. See? Yeah. If it had that face, I would totally use it. Now I could do some in painting, but the rest of it isn't that great anyways either. So I think I'm going to go with this one. Yeah, I'm going to go with the first one. Let's go ahead and minimize that. And choose the first one. You know, one of the things I think Midjourney should do is instead of us clicking on these little buttons down here, I think we should be able to click on the actual images. That'd be great, but okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to do real quick. I need to resize these. So I'm going to run through this really quickly. The idea is to make them all like I'm going to do 24 by 36 or 16 by 9. Which one should I do? I think I'm going to do 16 by 9. I'll keep them 16 by 9. I'm going to make them a little bit kind of like cinematic. So let's see. all I have to do, and I'll do this first one so you understand this. If you wanted to actually create a different aspect ratio of the image, you hit custom zoom. When you're in custom zoom, you go down to the area here that has the AR or aspect ratio. You go ahead and enter in the new aspect ratio that you want. In my case, 16:9. And then you change the zoom from 2 to be 1, which basically means no zooming. And you do that and you hit submit, and therefore it will go ahead and create a new aspect ratio for that same exact image. So we'll let that work. I'm going to do the rest of them real quick, and then we'll continue. And the last one, I'm going to go with wide on this. Well, up and down. Yeah, let's do up and down. So the first number is the width, the second number is the height, just so you know, when it comes to aspect ratios. Okay, so they're all done. Now we just have to wait for them to actually generate, and we can go through and pick the ones that we want. Notice some of these are still running, some of them are done. I'm just going to randomly pick a few here. Okay, perfect. So here we go. So this was the first image. It makes such a huge difference to see more of the image. Now, obviously, I may have chosen the wrong one here because this looks a little artificial. I don't know what that is, but just giving it more image to see is so much better. This aspect ratio makes a big difference. All right, let's go to the next one. This is the one that I'm going to change the wing on, and might be better if I actually end up doing this. I'll drop these. Anything that I fix, I'll drop these in my Instagram. Okay, that's the last one. We'll look at it in a second. This looks a little bit too tamed. I really would have liked to see a little bit more, but that's not a terrible image. I could see this for maybe an ad or something. I'd have to explore more of it. Maybe make it more wide. This is a really nice image. I actually like this one a lot. I love the colors and the lighting and just the way things glow. This is a very good image. Turned out really great. Let's go to the next one. This is also another image that I actually really like. It's just a nice, peaceful image, and it's well done. This is actually really well done. I love the balance of the colors. White sky. It just works really well. And this is the one we're going to work on in a moment. I'm going to take this one out of here. So I'm actually going to save that right now. Save copy. No, save image. Just save that for a moment. This was pretty cool. Not much I'm going to do with it, but looks good. I loved seeing more of that image together. Going to the next one. This is the boy. This is not much there. This is probably a magazine article picture, maybe. Not a lot to do art-wise. This is a great one. I'm going to use this one as well. I need to clean this one up because I actually like this image a lot. We'll come back to that. Here's the Sphinx. So this is the one that we started off with, the original one. And I really do like these colors. I mean, it's not exactly a photograph, but it just, something about it's really nice. And I think I like the one with the sun on the side. Yeah, I think that's the one. Let's go ahead and keep that one. I'm going to do 4. We'll see that in a moment. Here's the witch. That's actually a nice image. It's not bad. I probably would mess around a little bit more with that. It's not terrible. It's actually pretty cool. We'll see that one in Instagram in the next couple of days. And here's the view of the actual Sphinx itself. I kind of like this. There might be some touching up I have to do here and there, but for the most part, I really do like this image. Have you noticed like how it's darker on one side and lighter on the other, even though the sun is on this side? It just seems like very dark and gloomy on this end, and then it's very bright on the left side. Even like the terrain, something about it. It's pretty cool. I like that image a lot. We'll mess with that later. Okay. All right. So we got what we're going to work with. So let's go ahead and close this out. Okay. So we'll do this real quick. There's only one thing I want to do to this image. And the reason why we want to do this is if you look carefully here, this just seems really bright. So what I want to try and do is I want to see if this is even possible. I'm not sure if it is, but we're going to try it. Uh, there's something about Photoshop's remove tool that really works just so nicely. It works with AI, and all you have to really do is draw around it. But in this case, it's going to be kind of hard because of the fact that we are right next to this arm. So we want to make sure that we get everything like that. And hope that it doesn't cut the arm off. And you see how it did right there? It takes some of the arm off. But I think that should be okay. It looks like a little glare. Now, I don't like this bright color here, so I'm just going to remove that. Let's see if we can do it one more time, see what happens. Okay, that looks a little better. It's a little more natural. And then I'm also noticing right here in the... This is where the rest of that butterfly was. So we'll just do that, see how it softens it up. So now when we look at this image, you know what? I'm going to remove this too. I don't like this little piece that's right here. I'm just going to go ahead and see if we can remove that. Perfect. And let's look at this from far away. Something in our face we're going to get rid of. But see, without that big giant butterfly, it looks better. It takes away from that image. Look, see, big giant butterfly, no butterfly. It just works. Now I could get rid of this butterfly as well, but I like that one. That one's okay. It's not as bright. Let's go ahead and do one more thing. I want to just try to clean up the face. And we'll probably change the hues. Now that's probably a light, but I'm still going to remove it. Let me see. Let me go back for a second. Let's just get rid of this first. That's like a light that's there, but it just seems out of place. So I'm just going to take that off. There's one more thing that's bugging me is this looks like a broken tooth. So I'm going to see if I can take that off. There we go. That's a little bit better. Even though you don't see it from far away, I see it up close. And also I see like a little bit of eye there. I just want to take that off. Okay. Actually, that light needs to stay there. See if there's anything else that I don't really like in the image. There's a couple of abstract things just floating around, but that's okay. It kind of adds to the image. Anything else that stands out to me? Probably the hand here. Let's see if we can do this. Is that a ring? 1, 2, 3. There's a finger missing. I think the finger's probably behind there, so it's going to be okay. And that looks like it's a ring on the finger, so we're all right with that. There we go. Okay, so let's do a little color correction real quick. I'm not going to do a lot to this image. I want to make a copy of it just for fun. And then here we go. We're going to just do this automatically. So we'll do contrast first, which it's not really doing a lot of contrast automatically, but we'll see. Then we'll do the tone next. And that's better actually. And let's do an auto color. Okay, so the color, I don't really like the auto color. No. Let's see if we changed it ourselves. No, it's just touching the blues. I don't want it too... Take a look. Just a subtle change. It really doesn't need a lot. I'm actually okay with that. Let's change one more thing. Where's my levels? Where's my blacks? Yeah, they are right there. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. A very subtle change, but it makes a difference. All right, that's perfect. I like that. I'm just going to export this. All right, so it's just a sample. I'm gonna show you what I do with it next. By the way, it is, if you notice the size of it, it's 800 pixels by, what is it down here? By 1300 about. So it's, yeah, it's a decent size. It's not very big. It's also 72. Uh, it's not very nice. It's just 72 DPI. So it's for web. It's not going to be for printing. And we'll fix that. But let's go ahead and close that one out. Say no. And now let's take a look at this one. All right, this one's a lot easier to do. All we have to do is get rid of this area here right in the middle. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to give myself an extra one here, turn off the background. And all I want to do is get rid of this area in the middle. Now I could go ahead and make it hazy like the rest of it, but that's a lot more work. And I don't have to fill all of this in, but I kind of enjoy doing that sometimes. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Is that too bright? Let's take a look from far away. Nope, that's better. So now at least that part is gone. See if there's anything else that sticks out to me here. I don't like that little leaf there because it was drawing my attention to that spot. I kind of like the rest of it. The rest of it is fine. All right. I'm just going to do a quick auto here. Contrast doesn't really change much. The tone is pretty much where it should be. And the color, okay, in this case, I kind of like what it did with the color. Very subtle. It's a little more warm. I kind of like that. So let's go ahead and save this. I think, yep, sample 2, sample 1. All right, perfect. Go ahead and close these out. Don't mind all my crazy files. So I'm checking to see the size of these, right? I'm gonna look at properties. This one is 816 by 1456. And I just create this blank one. Then I'll take this image and I'll drop it in there like that. I'm gonna grab the other image and drop it in there as well, because they're basically about the same. Then I'm gonna take the tool here, gonna crop in that, and they should be saving on top of each other. Okay. All right, so we got that. Let's go this. I'm gonna do gigabyte per second. Grab both of these, throw that in there real quick. There it goes. So it's just a little touch up. You notice the blurriness over here versus a little bit more clarity. Doesn't have to be amazing, just enough. And I'm going to go ahead and save both of those images because it's doing it to the other one as well. And these are 9 by 16. So if I wanted to make these 24 by 36 to make them into posters, I could do that. And I could actually do that by adding to them. In fact, I think I'm going to do it real quick to show you. I probably can't. Yes, I can. So this is obviously not going to work, right? What we need to do is get another file. We'll go open up this other. So I'm going to grab these two images that are already set. Both of them are there. Both of them are at 300 dpi. And I'm going to take one at a time. So here we go. So we've got this first one's got all this extra space, right? So we're going to go ahead and select that area. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to select this area as well. Notice I'm just selecting a little bit of the side there. And this is kind of a 50, I'd say it's a 75-25 that it works. But sometimes you have to do it a couple of times. You don't have to write anything in the generate because it will actually just generate based on the image that's there to fill in the rest of the image. Instead of trying to crop the image out to fit into a 24 by 36, I find that doing this is a lot better. Like sometimes the generation takes a little longer than needed, but if you notice, it's added. I don't even have to look at the others, but I will. There's 3. It gives you 3 of them. So here's the second one. And here's the third one. They're basically about the same, which I think I'm just going to go with the first one. It's always good to stay with the first. Keep that one. So now all I have to do is merge these two together. All right, so that's an image. Now we'll do the same thing to this one here. Make sure that one's selected. Use that. Shift. Use this a little bit from the image itself. And then run the generative fill and just generate. We don't even have to put a prompt. If we wanted to add something to it, we could, but we're not going to do that. We just want to see it fill in so it expands the image a little bit more. See what it does. Now, it's taking a little longer, probably because I'm recording at the same time. So it added some flowers. It extended the flowers that are there. That doesn't look terrible. You know what? I'm not even going to bother to look at the rest. I think this is fine. It looks like it's supposed to be there. So we'll go ahead and grab both of these and we will merge those layers and we're done. Now we can export both of these. And we'll say export, should export to my regular file while it's doing that. They're already upscaled, so everything's good to go. Just waiting for it to finish so that I can show you the end result. Now, these files are certainly a lot bigger. This one's 47 megabytes, and the other one is, I believe it's going to be about the same. They started off being about, I don't know, maybe less than 3 megs each. Now, I think they were like 1.5 megs, and then they became 3 megs when we upscaled them, and now they're about 40 because of the size. This was 53. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and close that out. Okay, that's saving. Okay, perfect. So there we go. So we're done. We'll bring this up. 24 by 36. There's that should be, is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. There it is. 24 by 36. So these are good to go. So if I wanted to sell these as posters now, they're ready to go. I can just drop them in my store, have them as a poster or a canvas if somebody likes that and they want to, have that hanging, they can. If I want to sell that as a regular digital file that they can download, they can do that as well too. This is something I enjoy doing. And I'm glad I was able to share my little bit of tips that I have, kind of my process that I go through. But for me, this is a way that I work through my warm-ups in the morning. I just start with 12 daily generations, see what I can come up with. And then maybe 1 or 2 of them will stick out to me and be like, oh, hey, I could use that. Maybe I can do something with this one. And whether I use them or not, kind of like, doesn't really matter. The point is that I took some time to actually work with them, kind of gives me the warm up, gets my brain thinking, gets me in the mood to create something else. And so it starts my day off on a positive, inspirational, creative mode. So that's why I do it. I hope this helped you. I hope you got something out of it. I'm sure there's got to be something in there that I taught you, or at least kind of shared a tip or two that will help you if you're not already doing them. I would love to hear what things you're doing that I could add to my process as well. So feel free to leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. I'm out. Peace.